So today we will be learning how to making the sorbet. You're gonna have to bear with me here because I bought a new oven and I have to bring the computer closer because the oven is currently taking up the bench. Yeah. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be making my 5 favorite sorbets. What you're gonna need to start with is some fruit. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got a pineapple, I've got some lemons, I've got blood oranges, a grapefruit or two, ruby red for the colour, and some raspberries, of course. First and foremost, what you want to do is you want to get some sugar syrup on. Now to make a sugar syrup, it's very simple. All you need is 1 part water to 1 part sugar, and you bring that to the boil. As soon as it comes to the boil, you take it off the heat and you leave it, and you've got yourself a sugar syrup. You can use sugar syrup in cocktails as well, and you can use it for a lot of things. Store it in your fridge for whatever you don't use it, it'll keep for about a week. The reason why we make a sugar syrup is because when we puree our fruit, we don't want to have a gritty texture. We want to have a nice silky smooth soft texture, and if you're working with a cold product or a room temperature product such as fruit, you can't dissolve the sugar in just the fruit. It won't work. You've got to bring it to the boil, which is why we're making a sugar syrup. You can make any sorbet at all with fruits and chocolate and a lot of other nice things, vanilla essence and things like that. So it's very simple, it's very versatile. You can make whatever flavour sorbet you want. You can make avocado sorbet if you really wanted to, or tomato sorbet is quite popular in savoury dishes. So what you want to do is you want to take your 1 part sugar to 1 part water. So depending on how much sorbet you're making, make sure you've got enough sugar syrup. So even if you make too much, just put it in the fridge like I said before, and you can keep it for about a week. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make 1 kilogram of sugar to 1 litre of water, sugar syrup. So make sure you measure this out. You don't want to be wrong with it, with the sugar syrup. You don't want to be too thick, you don't want to be too watery, you just want to have it white, and 1 part sugar to 1 part water. Make sure that the water that you're adding to the sugar is cold water. You don't want to add hot water. So I've got my pot of sugar here and my 1 litre of water. Just going to add the 1 litre of water to the pot. And what you want to do is just give that a nice mix around. Get the sugar moving in the pot until it's reasonably well dissolved. And then put that on the heat and boil it up. What I thought I'd do is put some music on for you guys, because you probably wouldn't want to listen to my voice for too long. Yeah, so I'll put some stuff on from my trusty little iPod, and you can listen to that as well. We're going to juice our fruit while we're waiting for the sugar syrup to boil. First of all, take your lemons. Best way to juice a lemon is to take a juicer. In my case I use a handheld. Take your lemon and just roll it around on the bench and squash it nicely so that separates the membranes in the actual fruit, and cut it in half. Cut it in half, and then you've got a nice bit of lemon with all the juice moving around. What you want to do is, depending on how much sorbet you want, I'm going to juice 8 lemons, and I'm going to use that. Make sure you're juicing things into a strainer so you can get out all the yucky bits that you don't want in there. You just want a nice bit-free and flaky-free product. So now our sugar syrup is boiled. So, when it's boiling, as you can see, you take it straight off and you leave it and you don't touch it. What we're going to do for a couple of these things, like the pineapple and the raspberries, we're going to use them straight away because the pineapple and the raspberries, they're a lot more dense and there's a lot more fruit about them. So it'd be nice to cook them a little bit and soften them up in the sugar syrup. So now we've got our lemon juice product, as you can see. You just want to keep that aside now. Now onto my favourite, which is ruby red grapefruit. We're just going to juice those like we did the lemon. So there's the grapefruit, right there. This is my favourite sorbet. So do the same thing as you did with the lemons to the grapefruit. Roll it around, detach all the membranes inside, get all the juices flowing there, cut him in half. Look at that ruby red grapefruit, I love that. And just a bastard. What you can do is you can keep the skins. You just cut around the flesh, no, leave some of the flesh on actually on the inside, and use the skins, candy them, which means just to candy them. Basically you cut them and you boil them up in sugar syrup, and then you dehydrate them or dry them out in the oven on a low temperature for a long time, cover them with caster sugar or whatever, and it becomes a nice petit four. I'll tell you something else that's quite handy with grapefruits. If you have a little bit of grapefruit juice left over and you've got one of those fuffing cream machines, you can buy them at the store for about 20 bucks. You get a Parkley Markets or Markets or something like that. You can get it for about $20. You can put some juice in that can with some cream and shake it up, and then you can pipe out some grapefruit mousse, and it's really, really nice. It really is. And you can use that as a dessert with some grapefruit jelly that you make out of the rest of the juice. You put some gelatin leaves in there and things like that. Do a lot of things. Okay, so now, next one is blood oranges. I don't like to use normal oranges in sorbet because it doesn't have a very good colour about it. It's just got this bland orangey sort of colour. But if you have the same flavour in, well, not exactly the same flavour, but the same sort of flavour in blood oranges, but you've got the colour, which is very important for presentation. Same deal as the lemons and the grapefruit. Roll it around, detach the membranes, get some juice flowing. You can hear it. I haven't opened that yet, but you can hear the juice inside. So that's what you're predominantly looking for. So slice them open again, and what you've got is you've got this beautiful red orange colour, and that's going to come out really nicely. And then juice them as well. So that's the camera there. Juice them as well. I'm using 8 blood oranges here. Just thought I'd show you. Look at this one. Look at that for a blood orange. Isn't that fantastic? I love these. Except when this happens, you get blood orange all over your shirt and it's going to stain. And that's something else that happens when you don't roll it, detach the membranes and get the juices flowing inside before you cut it open. When you're trying to rush a video because you really need to get through this because you've got quite a few things to do and not a lot of time, this stuff happens and you start to stain things. So just take your time with it, make sure you detach the membranes and get the juices flowing inside the piece before you open it. And there is your orange juice. Now look at me, I'm gonna grab, hang on a second. Okay, that's better. We're into the 1 day top now. So yeah, you've got your orange juice here, which looks like you've just slit someone's throat and poured it into a, what's this thing called? A bowl, that's it. Poured it into a bowl. It's just, that's why they call them blood red oranges, I guess, blood oranges. So yeah, once you've got all your 3 juices, what you want to do is add sugar syrup to each one of them, but only to taste to what you want your sorbet to taste like. Knowing that you're going to put whipped egg whites into it, you want to just add a little bit more than you need because the flavour is going to mellow out again with the egg whites. So it's your choice. Have it as sweet as you like or have it as fruity as you like. It's up to you. Okay, so now what you want to do is after you've added your sugar syrup to your mixtures, to taste, you want to get yourself some containers like this or some bowls which will host this, because you're going to freeze it and then we'll continue after you've frozen it. Freezing it? Yeah, frozen it. Now the lemon one, lemon juice, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to add some sugar to that and mellow it out a bit. Not too much so it's sweet and not lemony, but you want to have a bit of tang, but you also want it to be a little reasonably sweet because that just sucked. Okay, I'm noticing here with these measurements, 2 ladles full, which would approximately be about 200 millilitres of, no, I'm lying to you, about 50 millilitres of sugar syrup in each one. So in all your measurements, 100 millilitres of sugar syrup should be fine.